Your child looks you dead in the eye, surrounded by irrefutable evidence of a mess they made, and confidently tells you they didn't do it. The family dog did it. An imaginary superhero did it. Your heart sinks. You think, where did I go wrong? Am I raising a sociopath? The scientific reality is going to shock you. When your child tells their very first lie, they haven't committed a moral failure. They've actually just achieved a monumental, miraculous cognitive milestone. Today, we are going to dive deep into the neuroscience of childhood deception, why your instinctual parenting reaction is actually making them lie more, and the exact psychological tools you can use tonight to make them tell the truth. Let's look at a scenario that plays out in millions of homes every single day. Meet Sarah, a loving but stressed mother, and her 7-year-old son, Liam.
Liam, what happened here? Did you throw the ball in the house?
No, I didn't do it. The cat jumped on the table and knocked it over.
Stop the tape. Why did Liam just blatantly lie when Sarah can clearly see the ball in his hand? To understand this, we have to look inside Liam's prefrontal cortex, the neurological headquarters for executive functioning. Telling the truth is easy. It just requires retrieving a memory and speaking it. But lying? Lying requires immense neurobiological coordination. First, Liam has to use inhibitory control to suppress his automatic urge to blurt out the truth. Then, he has to use his working memory to hold two competing realities in his head, the truth and the fake story about the cat. Finally, he's utilizing theory of mind, the profound cognitive realization that his mother doesn't automatically know everything he knows. Far from being bad behavior, Liam's lie proves his brain is developing exactly as it should.
Liam, do not lie to me. I can see the ball right there. Why are you lying to my face? I'm not lying. I didn't do it.
Let's pause again. Sarah just fell into the most common parenting trap, the setup question. She asked a question she already knew the answer to, which immediately cornered Liam. Let's look at the brain mechanics of what just happened. When Sarah got angry and demanded a confession, Liam's central nervous system perceived an acute threat. This activated his amygdala, the brain's primitive fear center. In this state of intense fear, Liam's amygdala essentially hijacked his rational prefrontal cortex, triggering a fight, flight, or freeze response. Lying in this moment is not manipulation. It is an evolutionary survival mechanism. It is a verbal flight response designed to escape the immediate danger of his mother's anger. When a child is terrified of punishment, telling the truth becomes a neurological impossibility.
You are acting like a liar. If you can't tell me the truth, go to your room. You're grounded. Fine, you never believe me anyway. Liam just doubled down on his lie, even when faced with irrefutable evidence. Why? It's deeply rooted in the psychological phenomenon of cognitive dissonance. Liam believes he is a good kid, but he just did a bad thing. Holding these two contradictory beliefs causes acute psychological agony. To protect his fragile identity, his psyche subconsciously rejects the negative reality. He isn't just trying to convince Sarah, he's frantically trying to convince himself. And by labeling him a liar, Sarah just made a critical error. Children internalize the labels we give them. If Liam believes he is a liar, he will view deceit as an unchangeable part of his core identity, creating a self-fulfilling prophecy of chronic deception.
Welcome to the deep dive. We've seen how lying plays out in real time, but to truly change our children's behavior, we must move past viewing lying as simply bad behavior and understand the deep-seated emotional needs driving it. The scientific consensus is clear. While the emergence of lying is a normal developmental stage, the chronic habit of lying is an environmental adaptation. Let me tell you about a groundbreaking natural experiment involving young children from two vastly different schools in West Africa. one highly punitive with harsh physical discipline and one non-punitive. Researchers used the temptation resistance paradigm, a game where children are left alone with a hidden toy and told not to peek. Unbeknownst to the kids, peeking leaves irrefutable physical evidence. The result? Children from both schools peeked, but when asked about it, the overwhelming majority of children from the punitive school lied, and they were substantially better at maintaining their deception. Dr. Victoria Talwar's extensive research echoes this. Punitive environments do not promote honesty. They weaponize fear, forcing children to become highly strategic, sophisticated liars simply to ensure their emotional and physical survival. So, what are the hidden emotional motivations behind a lie? Low emotional safety, the invisible suitcase. Children carry an invisible suitcase of beliefs about adults based on early experiences. If a home is unpredictable or harsh, kids use lying as a psychological shield. They curate a false reality to present to caregivers to avoid triggering anger or rejection. 2. Attention-seeking and self-esteem. If your child tells grandiose, cinematic lies, like claiming they have an exotic pet or exaggerating a playground achievement, they aren't being malicious. This is a desperate attempt to fulfill a psychological need for connection, validation, and adult proximity. 3. The neurodivergent profile, ADHD. For kids with ADHD, lying often stems from specific neurological deficits in working memory and impulse control, not deliberate deceit. They might tell a careless lie because their brain failed to inhibit a thoughtless response, or they lie to escape the intense executive dysfunction anxiety triggered by a multi-step homework assignment. Punishing this impulsivity only exacerbates their dysregulation. 4. Testing boundaries in adolescence. As kids become teenagers, lying peaks as a tool for individuation. When parents micromanage, teens use lying by omission to assert autonomy and carve out private psychological space. Here is the hard truth. We, as adults, are the primary architects of a child's moral framework. Children are astute observers of hypocrisy. If you tell a white lie to get a cheaper movie ticket, or tell a relative you're sick to avoid a party, your child internalizes a powerful lesson. Deception is an acceptable tool for convenience. Parenting by lying destroys trust. We know the why. Now let's talk about the how. How do we create an environment where telling the truth feels safe? Here are 3 evidence-based strategies you can start using tonight. We need to eliminate the setup question. Instead of backing your child into a corner by asking, "Did you do this?" become a neutral commentator. If your child says they brushed their teeth, but the toothbrush is bone dry, do not say, "You're lying." Instead, state the objective facts. "I see the toothbrush is dry, and your teeth still need to be brushed." This provides necessary information without an accusation. It entirely bypasses the child's defensive stress response and allows them to correct their behavior without the shame of a power struggle. Children lie because the perceived cost of telling the truth is just too high. Lower that barrier by using a preamble to guarantee emotional safety before a difficult conversation. Try saying, "I need to ask you a question about what happened to the window. Before you answer, I want you to know you are not going to be yelled at. I will be proud of you for telling the truth, even if a mistake was made." This calms the amygdala. Furthermore, research proves that if a child knows a voluntary confession will actively reduce their punishment, their logical brain shifts from concealment to transparency. Shift your entire disciplinary framework. If Liam breaks the vase, an ineffective response is demanding a confession under duress. Instead, say, "I noticed the vase is broken. I am not angry, but I am concerned about safety. Accidents happen. Let's work together to clean it up." You bypass the lie and position yourself as an ally. When mistakes are viewed as opportunities to learn rather than crimes requiring painful confessions, the psychological need for a cover-up simply disappears. Parenting is the hardest job in the world. When our kids lie to us, it triggers our deepest insecurities. We want to raise honest, good people. But we have to remember, a child's first lie isn't a sign that they are broken. It's a sign that their brain is growing. Our job is not to crush that development with fear, rage, or punishment. Our job is to be their safe harbor. Environments that weaponize fear build excellent liars. But environments that prioritize emotional safety, that respond to deceit with curiosity rather than rage, build resilient, intrinsically honest human beings. The next time your child does something wrong and their voice shakes, but they tell you the truth anyway, recognize the immense neurobiological bravery that took. Praise the courage of their confession before you ever address the misbehavior. Show them that the truth is always safe with you. If this video changed how you view your child's behavior, please hit that subscribe button. It helps us bring more science-backed parenting tools to families who need them. And I want to hear from you. What was the funniest, most obvious lie your child ever told you? Drop it in the comments below, and let's laugh about these amazing growing brains together. Stay calm, stay curious, and I'll see you in the next deep dive.